You wake up tired, not because you didn't sleep enough, but because even in your sleep, you couldn't fully rest. You go through the day. You smile when you're supposed to. You say the right things. You show up. But somewhere underneath all of that, there's a version of you that is absolutely exhausted, not for doing too much, from being someone you were never supposed to be for this long. And today, we need to talk about that. There's a word that gets used too quickly: depression. And while depression is real and serious, there is something else happening. For a lot of people, that looks exactly like it. It is called identity exhaustion. It happens when a person has spent so long performing a version of themselves that they have lost contact with who they actually are. The performance started innocently enough. Maybe you learned early that certain parts of you were too much for the people around you. Too sensitive, too emotional, too quiet, too loud, too different. So you adjusted. You learned which version of yourself got the most approval, the most love, the most safety, and you became that version so well that you forgot it was a performance. Here is how identity exhaustion shows up. In everyday life, you feel tired, but you can't explain why. You feel empty. Even after a good day, you feel like something is missing, but you can't name what it is. You find yourself going through the motions, doing what is expected, saying what is appropriate, being who people need you to be. But inside, there's a quiet voice that has been trying to speak for a very long time, and you have become so good at ignoring it that now you can barely hear it. That voice is not depression. That voice is you, the real you, the one that got quieter and quieter every time you chose the performance over the truth. The reason identity exhaustion feels so much like depression is because the symptoms overlap. Low energy, difficulty feeling joy, a sense of emptiness, disconnection from life. But there is one important difference. Depression often comes without a clear cause. Identity exhaustion has a very specific cause. You are spending enormous energy every single day maintaining a version of yourself that does not actually fit. Think about it this way. If you wore shoes 2 sizes too small every single day, your feet would eventually stop working properly. Not because something is wrong with your feet, but because they were never designed to live in that much pressure. Your identity works the same way. When you force yourself into a version of you that doesn't fit, your whole system eventually starts to shut down. Not because you are broken, but because you are exhausted from a fit. So what do you actually do with this? You don't fix identity exhaustion by pushing harder. You don't fix it by being more productive. You fix it slowly by finding your way back to the parts of yourself you abandoned. First, notice the performance. Start paying attention to the moments when you shift, when you walk into a room and immediately adjust your voice, your posture, your opinions, your energy. Notice it. Don't judge it. Just notice. Second, ask yourself what you actually want, not what you're supposed to want, not what would make others comfortable. What do you, the real version of you, actually want? Even if the answer is small, even if it feels selfish, even if you've been trained to believe you don't deserve to want things, ask anyway. Third, let one true thing exist. You don't have to transform overnight, but start letting one true thing about yourself exist in the open. One honest opinion, one real feeling, one preference that belongs to you, not to the performance. One small step back toward yourself is enough for today. Cronômetro outro. 6 horas, 7 horas. You're not broken. You are not depressed. You are someone who worked very hard for a very long time to be acceptable to the people around you. And that work has finally caught up with you. The exhaustion you feel is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you have been carrying something that was never yours to carry. You are allowed to put it down. You are allowed to stop performing. You are allowed to be exactly who you are, even if that version of you is quieter, stranger, more complicated, less agreeable. That version is not a problem. That version is you, and you have been missing for long enough. Take care of yourself. See you in the next one.